A government shutdown could be avoided if Democrats reconsider their demands, according to Senate Majority Leader John Thune. In a recent interview with the Associated Press, Thune characterized the current Democratic requests regarding health care as unrealistic, yet he remains optimistic that a shutdown can still be averted despite the significant disagreements that loom ahead of the funding deadline on Wednesday. Thune, a Republican from South Dakota, expressed his belief that there are always solutions to be found in challenging situations. He stated, "I'm a big believer that there's always a way out, and I think there are off-ramps here, but I don't think that the negotiating position, at least at the moment, that the Democrats are trying to exert here is going to get you there." He emphasized that Democrats need to dial back their demands, which currently include the immediate extension of health insurance subsidies and the reversal of health care provisions included in a significant tax bill passed by Republicans earlier in the summer. Thune warned that without a change in approach, the likelihood of a government shutdown increases significantly. This situation marks yet another chapter in the ongoing saga of government funding disputes in Washington, a conflict that has persisted through multiple administrations. Notably, during his first term, President Donald Trump was instrumental in orchestrating the longest government shutdown in history as he sought funding for a border wall between the U.S. and Mexico. Now, it is the Democrats who are under pressure from their supporters to resist the Republican administration's policies. As the deadline approaches, Democrats have shown little inclination to back down from their position. This steadfastness remains even after the White House Office of Management and Budget, OMB, issued a memo warning that many federal programs might face a reduction in force if the government were to shut down, potentially leading to thousands of federal employees being laid off permanently. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer for New York dismissed the OMB memo as an attempt at intimidation, predicting that any unnecessary layoffs would either be challenged in court or that the administration would ultimately have to rehire those workers. While Thune refrained from directly criticizing the White House's warning about mass layoffs, he acknowledged that the memo was not unexpected given the known stance of Russ Vought, the head of the OMB, who has long advocated for reducing government size. But it's all avoidable, Thune reiterated. And so if they don't want to go down that path, there's a way to avoid going down that path. One potential solution, Thune proposed, is for enough Democrats to join Republicans in supporting a straightforward, clean funding bill that would keep the government operational for an additional 7 weeks, while discussions about spending continue. This approach mirrors a previous instance in March when Schumer and other Democrats voted alongside Republicans at the last moment to prevent a shutdown, a decision that later led to political backlash within the Democratic Party. Thune posed a question to his colleagues: what would 8 Democrats be willing to support? He emphasized the importance of understanding the path forward to avoid a shutdown. In the Senate, which consists of 100 members, Republicans require at least 7 Democratic votes to reach the 60 votes necessary for a short-term funding package. However, they may face challenges, as 2 Republican senators, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Rand Paul of Kentucky, have already expressed opposition in preliminary votes. A competing proposal from Democrats also failed to garner the required support. Thune suggested that individual bipartisan bills aimed at funding specific government sectors for the upcoming year could serve as a compromise, but he stressed that this would necessitate cooperation from both parties. Democrats have expressed frustration over Thune's lack of outreach for negotiations, particularly after Trump abruptly canceled a scheduled meeting with Schumer and House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. Trump stated on social media that he believed no productive outcome could arise from such a meeting. Thune mentioned that he had discussed the meeting with the president, but chose not to disclose the details of their conversation. He noted, "But I think the president speaks for himself, and I think he came to the conclusion that that meeting would not be productive." Despite the tensions, Thune believes that Trump might be open to negotiating the expanded healthcare subsidies that are set to expire at the end of the year, provided that Democrats do not threaten a shutdown. Many individuals relying on these subsidies through the Affordable Care Act marketplaces are expected to face significant increases in premiums if Congress does not act to extend them. While some Republicans agree with Democrats on the necessity of maintaining these subsidies, Thune insists that any agreement must include substantial reforms, which Democrats are likely to resist. As lawmakers prepare to reconvene on Monday, they will have just over 24 hours to prevent a federal shutdown. Thune plans to reintroduce the bills that were previously rejected, stating they'll get multiple chances to vote before the government potentially shuts down at midnight on Wednesday. He expressed hope that cooler heads will prevail in this situation, concluding with a sentiment that shutdowns ultimately serve no one well, especially not the American public.